The first game is live, as you can see. Major versus Stardust. Major is, as soon as you guys can see, our
Salsalio, pink Terran player, spawning in the top right-hand corner of Cloud Kingdom, and of course, Stardust, the Protoss player in the bottom left.
You know, the casting is kind of like playing. You get used to different setups, because I would have swear that this was gray, but I guess it's actually pink. And the better I look at it, it is pink. But it's just so different than the screens I casted recently on. Man, I have to like adjust them. In future, I'm going to do a warm-up cast.
You know what? We should really upgrade these studio monitors to the high-tech AZO monitors that we're always lauding on the set. They are the best and the brightest performance gaming monitors in the world.
I watched quite a bit of Major's TVP. And Major actually played some really good games against Huck. He lost the first game on Entombed Valley at WCS. If you guys haven't seen the games, they were reasonable games. Not that if you missed them, you missed out on some epic StarCraft, but they were fun to watch. Of course, there was so much on stake. Well, Huck went for some gateway pressure. He surprised Major in the first game and won that. But the second game, Major played a very nice macro game, put on pressure, went up to 3 bases before Huck did so, and actually played very, very strong and looked very confident in his matchup.
Kev, as you're taking us through some of the StarCraft history there, I'm still browsing some of the cool facts from this day in history. And one of them just caught my eye. This day in history, La Bamba is the #1 hit for Los Lobos, one of my favorite songs as a child. La La Bamba. I used to go eat at this Mexican restaurant in my hometown called El Sombrero, which means the hat. And there was these little mariachi guys that would walk through and play songs, and I would always ask them to play La Bamba. And they would, and I would put $1 in the big guitar.
And were you able to perform it in the end?
No, no. They also played this other song. I called it the train song, because a guy with a violin would play this song that really sounded like a train. He was like, wee, and it just sounded like like a train song to me. I don't actually know the name of it.
If you guys just tuned in, you are actually watching a StarCraft 2 broadcast, and there will be a lot of StarCraft today, as we can see that Stardust is just opening up quite standard, getting the Zealot before the core. You want to get the Zealot in case Terran players decide to build an engineering bay over here, and if they do that, and you want to open up with a Stalker first, you're basically not allowed to, or not able to expand for a very long time, unless you want to build your Nexus next to it and then float it over as soon as the engineering bay is done. But unfortunately, Protoss players cannot do that. Of course, this is still our off-season as well, so everything is still a little bit fun. This is the Korean server, so we are going to be very confused today. Most of the time, we're going to have, just like you guys at home, absolutely no idea what's going on. But there is light at the end of the tunnel, guys, because Season 4 is coming closer and closer.
That is right. Season 4 just around the corner. September 12th, we'll be kicking off the 4th season of the North American Star League, and it will be the biggest and the best yet. Wait until you see the list of players.
Wait until you see the groups.
You guys just...
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, little probe harass.
Very smart by Major over here, while the units were kind of out on the map. The first Zealot actually made his way just across the to the other side. So Major's going to have to micro. Major can micro, but he might have a little bit of delay on the Korean server.
Gets in there, might kill a Marine, but look at the great control from Major.
Whoa, micro challenge. Whoa!
Wow.
Zealot
I
does
thought that Marine was going to get sliced in half vertically, but that is not what happened.
Not sure if that was a cancel or not.
I would wager no.
No, because that Zealot is probably... Does it have a kill?
He does have a kill.
So during all that, Major kept his Marines alive, but did lose the engineering bay.
Lost 125 minerals.
No, that's actually probably not a good trade. Would have been better to lose a Marine. But hey, this looked fancy, and let's just pretend we did not see that he did not cancel the engineering bay. So fantastic opening by Major, lost nothing.
Yeah, I agree, sir. I do agree. Nexus is going down now for Stardust, the Korean Protoss superpower. We had Korean food for lunch today.
And it was good. And we had General Water with it.
Yes, we did. We always try to eat Korean before broadcast because we feel like it brings out our inner gamer.
The robotics facility is more than halfway done. More pioneers are going up. So very standard opening so far from our Protoss player, who doesn't have a huge economic lead as his Nexus was delayed by quite a bit. Right now we can see 27 probes against 25 SUVs. That's a really good scenario early game for Terran, guys. Any Terran in the world will sign for that. Well, they would also sign for 27 for them and 25 for Protoss, but some things are just not possible.
Some things are not possible, Kevin. They just aren't. Major playing extra safe here, throwing down that extra bunker. We did saw him get busted a couple of times during his run through WCS.
Yep, by Huck on Entombed. And I think also later on as well. So a lot of Terrans are still quite worried about that, and I can understand it. Certainly when you delay the Nexus, you know that if this goes into a long game, you should be at least sort of fine for a little while. You're not going to win the game because his Nexus is delayed, but it helps out a little bit, so you want to make sure that you won't throw away that early game minor advantage that you have by getting all in.
Little Marine poke coming out here for Major. Stardust probe is, oh, he's paying very good attention to it. Sees those Marines, gets the probe out of there safely. And other than that, not any really big developments in this game. It's just standard robo follow-up. Stardust builds his buildings like a Brood War player, by the way. This is very Brood War building placement.
He's going to get Blink banned, so it's going to be a 2-base Blink play. I kind of like that in general, but I really prefer to open up from 1 base with this, and then either just go all in and do a lot of damage, or do it... Yeah, or not do it from 2, because the problem is right now, Blink is going to be very late. We can already see that Stim is halfway done, so there's no way that he's ever going to hit a window before Stim is ready. Now there are not a whole lot of Marauders on the field. Actually, there's only a single Marauder on the field right now. No concussive shells either, so yes, he will still be able to do something. But picking up Marines while you're opening Blink Stalker, that's not going to put you ahead in this game. So I'm actually a little bit worried about this build from Stardust, and I'm starting to like Major's position quite a bit. Of course, he's still going to have to make the right moves, get good army positioning, but yeah, this Blink is going to be pretty late.
He's beginning to produce his first Marauders, and that will be instrumental in killing the Blink Stalkers.
Does
as
he
we
know?
see the starports switching out.
Well, he doesn't know, but he's
no
making
idea.
all the right calls.
A couple more gates even going down.
Oh, this might actually just be a Blink Stalker boss at the front. Now that makes a little bit of more sense. Could potentially work, but all of Major still has... Oh no, Major sells both bunkers.
Oh dear.
It's an ugly moment to salvage those bunkers.
Well, now we know for a fact that he has no idea what he's up against, because he would not have done that.
I mean, the fact that Stardust is bringing the sentries and also the zealots gives me the idea that he wants to bust the front. He might try to pull him out of position once by getting Blink Stalkers in the main, but then blink everything to the low ground and then try to bust the front, but there is nothing to bust.
Nope, just a bunch of units. As we see that warp in coming from Stardust, he is down about 10 supply. Major's got a large force of units, and his first medevacs are coming out. Kev, will medevacs and bio be enough, or is it absolutely instrumental that he has the bunkers?
No, actually this should be enough, but I mean, bunkers help out a lot, but this should already, because that's something to fall back on. And right now, every time he's going to stim, we will most likely see Stardust retreat. But the weird thing is that he also brought these gateway units, and sentries cannot run away from stimmed bio. Of course, they can force field. I like the position from Major a lot, unless Stardust shows us some really excellent Focus Fire micro and Blink Stalker micro. The problem is, if you just attack move, the medevacs are going to heal up all the damage that your Stalkers do over time, so that's not going to be enough. He's going to have to pick off Marauders one by one, but it's so hard. And now actually Major is lagging. As you guys can see, fortunately he's not disconnecting. And he's back.
And it's gone.
Major lags, is about to win the game, and he's back.
Now, kind of funny the way this is working out, as the Marines are going to walk right over here into the Stalkers. A couple force fields go down. They're not, well, they're not terrible force fields, but they're not great force fields either. And actually, Major's just going to kill the vast majority of Stardust's army. That was a little sloppy. More Stalkers falling here, and as we speculated,
Sim Bio is very good against Blink Stalkers, man. That's why I feel that if you want to play Blink, now we see double Forge going up in the main base. So he wants to transition, but if we take a look at the unit's lost resource step, we can see that Major only lost 1100 resources in this game. Actually, it's only 1000 since we decided not to count the engineering bay. That never happened. And Stardust already lost 2200, yeah, 2275. So in other words, our Protoss player is in a world of trouble. I actually don't think there is anything he can ever do.
It looks like he's kind of screwed to me, Kev. He's down 30 supply. His economy is not even really that comparable. And Major is kind of caught in an awkward position. Only half of his army's here. Where's the rest of your army, Major?
It's idling in his own watchtower. A couple of units are storming in as well. Stalkers do decide to focus fire right now, but the DPS of this Terran army is just so much higher.
Looks like it, Kev. And Major cleans up a lot of Stardust's troops, and then promptly proceeds to idle once again at the Zelnaga Tower.
Well, if you want to do something with Blink Stalkers against Terran, you should always try to hit before Stim. Doing it from 2 base, you can open up with Blink, but then most of the time when people open up with Blink, they do it for defensive purposes, like we saw Hawk do against Major as well. Hawk didn't win that game in Antigua, but that makes sense, because you try to intercept drops, perhaps get upgrades off from your forges, so you just use Blink to be defensive, and then with Force Field it can be very good. But if you're just going to stand in the middle of the map, you're just not going to have enough DPS to deal with these Terran units.
Yep, and Major is going to come right up the ramp. There's not many sentries and not a whole lot of energy for things like Force Field. Nice scoot and shoot play here with the Marines and the medevacs.
Yeah, very well done by Major. Barely loses any units. He's still running away. I think he could just fight. He's bringing in some Marauders right now from the north side. And he will be able to clean up most, if not everything, of Stardust.
It's going to be all she wrote for Stardust here in our first game from the Korean Gauntlet. GG is called. And the Mexican Terran, the first player to take a win today.
Major making that money, 75 bucks already for Yuan. Of course, a member from Root Gaming. And it seems like we're going to have a Root kill next up, as it's going to be TT1. So we're going to have a Mexican player and a Canadian player playing on the Korean server.
Not bad, Kev.